Well, sweet, man. We made it.
I'm excited to be on. This is awesome.
January 26th, start of the year. We've talked about getting this pod kind of set up for a while now. I think it's pretty sweet that we finally got it locked in. I know you got a lot going on. I got a lot going on. But just to let everybody know kind of what's going on, wanting to start what's called Legacy Necessities. I think that since I've moved to Austin, even my whole lifetime, but especially since moving to Austin, I've met so many incredible people, such as yourself. Well, we haven't even known each other that long.
Yeah, no.
Maybe a year
and a half.
And it's just been incredible. Like the amount of stories that I've heard, whether it be fitness, business, passions, side hustles. There's a lot of people doing a lot of really cool things. And you're one of the first people that I'm like, man, got to get Bryce on the pod too, because I feel like you've got a really cool story and it hasn't been shared a ton. So thank you for making this happen, man.
Definitely, man. Appreciate you having me on. Super excited. Always, like you said, want to get started with the podcast. I think this is a great opportunity to get started with the new year. So yeah.
Yeah. And with that being said, like you have a lot to unpack. Yeah. Give us a very brief, broad backstory, who you are, where you come from, and kind of what's gotten you to this point here.
Yeah. So a really quick backstory on me is I grew up in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, kind of near the Amish area, if you guys are familiar with that, like an hour and a half outside of Philly. I was always good at math and science growing up, which I'll touch on in a second, which is kind of why I got started with studying engineering then in college, but played sports growing up, was really into sports, working out, health, fitness, all that stuff. As I got into high school, I was trying to decide what I wanted to do in the future. And math and science I was good at. I knew engineering was a route, and construction is kind of what I grew up behind. My dad has a construction company. So it's always in the back of my mind, like staying in that industry, do engineering, and kind of see where things would play out. So ended up going to Penn State, just played club lacrosse there. I was thinking about playing lacrosse at another university, but really wanted to go to Penn State. And I was like, I just want to go there. Yeah. Fun school, 2 hours away from home. So good opportunity there. So I studied civil engineering at Penn State. Went there, had a lot of fun. It was one of my best 4 years of my life. Great experience. And maybe we can touch on this later down the line. But senior year, I had some COVID issues, obviously, that affected my life a ton and kind of caused me to miss my last semester of college, miss graduation, kind of just threw my life for a spin. But then after graduating Penn State, I ended up moving to Austin, just want to move away from home, get some experience elsewhere, stayed in the construction industry and moved here to Austin, like I just said. Worked for a general contractor for a year and a half, almost 2 years. And then through that experience, I started social media, which I kind of skipped over in college. Started posting on TikTok and Instagram, just doing like fitness content, health, diet, all that type of stuff. And through that experience, started doing stuff on the side, making some good side money. And I was like, oh, this would be awesome to do full time one day. But I never really had that push to like actually do it. And something in me recently kind of got in that mode, and I ended up leaving my full-time job. So to do fitness content, social media, and starting two of my businesses on my own. So I'm kind of going the entrepreneurial route right now.
Yeah, it's super cool. Because when I first met you, you know, we were running a lot, both kind of getting ready for the Austin Marathon last year. And when you introduce yourself, you're like, yeah, I'm Bryce. You know, I'm an engineer. You talk about that lifestyle, and you're like, man, I do like some social media stuff. And now it's the total flip flop. I mean, now you've kind of burned the ships and you're all in on the social media stuff. And now you're like Bryce, you know, influencer, entrepreneur, one-on-one coach. When did you realize you're like, oh, like this is like my thing. Like this is legit.
Yeah. Honestly, that's a great question that it took me a while to realize myself. And it's something I really struggled with. I would have everyone asking me, are you going to quit your job? Are you going to drop out of school? Are you going to do all these things? And I was like, to do social media full time. And I was like, no, like I'm only just going to keep doing it on the side. And it got to the point, I was kind of waiting for a point where I was making more money from social media than my 9 to 5 to quit my 9 to 5. But I never really got to that point. So there was never that pushing leap forward of, oh, go do it now, or now's the good time. And I kind of just got a point where I just felt my life being so repetitive. I didn't like what I was doing every day. I was waking up, not miserable, but I just didn't enjoy my day to day. And I would feel stressed too much because I would wake up, be in person every day by 6:30, 7 a.m., work all day, come home, go straight to the gym, try to run, try to train for a marathon, try to edit my content, then try to have sales calls and do fitness coaching at night. and just became a stressful life. And I was like, I can't take this anymore. I don't like it, and might as well just take the chance for like a few months. And I actually was considering moving back to Pennsylvania here this coming spring to pursue the construction industry and go work for my father. But I had this mindset. I was like, I'm going to quit. I'm going to try to support myself until April when I move home and just see what happens. I think I can get by at least if things don't work out. And if things do work out, maybe that's great. I'll keep going. And I jumped in full head first, and it's been great since. I've been doing a lot better than I thought, making more than I was at my 9-to-5, and decided, you know what, I need to just go full in on this. And I'm working on a product right now, a health and wellness product, an app with some friends, and got a few businesses going as well.
Yeah, that's super cool. And I think that more so now than ever, you're seeing more of that. Yeah. Seems like everyone's, an influencer or starting to build a business. And that's what I think is so cool, is because your story, I know, has impacted a lot of people, like in our friend group, which is super cool. People are starting to make moves. But I think that battle that you had, that internal battle between, okay, like I'm just going to be working a 9-to-5 the rest of my life. Mm-hmm. And now you're like, I don't want to go back to that.
Yeah.
I found success. Do you think that's just like the older school type of thinking? Like, I need to work a job, go to work, provide for my family? Or like, what would you say is the difference between the mindset of like, I need to go work, or I can take a jump in something that I have no idea how it's going to turn out and make that provide for me, my future family, whatever else?
Yeah. I honestly think it's a combo of both. I think the older generation can be in your ear, and that's what you're used to hearing of, you can't make money. It's not like fake money, but I don't want to say easier money either, because it's not easy to make money nowadays. But just through social media, the digital world, things have become easier. And there's more opportunities, I think, nowadays than that was existing back then. And a lot of people might not realize that. But I think the main thing for me was, I was always like, work's work. I don't like work regardless of what I'm doing. So I'm just going to suck it up and do what I've been taught to do or thought I was going to do. And I just hit a point where I was like, I don't like this. And I would rather wake up every single day with more flexibility and doing what I love than just doing something I hate for the rest of my life. I don't know what got into me. And I think it's solely down to time and just realizing we literally have one life. And at the end of the day, like, you can either go work a job you hate for the rest of your life, and when you're 60, regret it and go into retirement and just play it safe, or you can take a risk and bet on yourself. And I kind of view it like, worst thing that happens is your business, your career, your entrepreneurship doesn't work out, and you can go back to the job you were doing prior.
100%. With that, you touched on it right there a little bit, talking about like what you've been taught. Mm-hmm. What do you think's something that people misunderstand most about it, what you're doing in like that industry?
In terms of what I'm doing now?
Yeah. And just like getting into social media. I
think a big misconception is, in terms of social media, first would be, people think just because you post or have followers or views means you're making money. And like, I could lie, or I could sit here and say, oh, I'm making money from social media. But social media is more so your outlet to make money, I guess you could call it. You don't necessarily make money just from followers and views and everything unless you're a massive creator. So it's more so building a personal brand and having people that like what you do and the value you provide, so that one day when you go release a product or an app or a service or offer coaching, you have people to promote that to. So I think a big misconception is people think just posting and having followers means you make money. That's not true at all. You could have 1 million followers and make $1,000 a month. Or I know some people that have 5,000 followers and they're making 50 to 100K a month. So that's a big misconception. And I'd say the second one is that it has a bad rap. And I think everyone thinks that like the word social media or influencer or anything like that, even the entrepreneurship route in some instances comes off as like lazy, or not lazy, easy, lazy. And it's just, when you think about it deeper, it's more of just people jealous. I think it's all from jealousy, and then realizing like they wish they could do that. Because I was in the same boat. I was working my job and I would see people making money, being able to run at 12 o'clock p.m. on a Wednesday. And I was internally jealous. And I would be like, oh, all he does is just runs on Wednesday at 12 p.m.
Yeah.
But through this, I've learned
those talks before.
Yeah. And it's like, I've learned that like, it's not easy, and it's not something that's you want to do every day. And it comes off as like a lazier lifestyle doing social media, but it's just not the case at all. Especially, I don't really like to call myself an influencer or use that word at all. I hate it. And I don't really say just do social media for a living. I want to view myself as more as an entrepreneur. But having flexibility in your schedule is nice, but I just think people have the misunderstanding that you're not working hard or not trying to do something. Because I mean, at the end of the day, if I don't work and my businesses don't work out, like, yeah, I'm kind of screwed. So you're taking a big risk on yourself.
No, I agree. And I think that the more people that I've really gotten to know who are crushing it on social media and like genuinely being successful, whether it be creating a product or just starting a business, yes, they're doing some of the maybe flashier things during the day, like working out with friends during the typical work day or going for a run. But like you and I, we were texting at last night, 11:30 midnight. You know what I mean? Like you're a perfect example of that. Yes, you get to do some of the nicer stuff. You went out for a run in the cold and were able to put out good content and stuff like that. But the behind the scenes stuff
doesn't get shown.
It doesn't get shown. Not at all.
I would say I end up working much longer than 8 hours a day, but just the word work to people, I think is where they have that misconception of just because I go out at 11 or 12 and hit a run in the middle of the day and that's all I post for the day, doesn't mean I'm doing nothing, just scrolling on my phone all day. Like that's the last thing I do. That means I woke up early, was doing work all morning, then went for a run, and then I'm going to be working late in the evening, night, editing stuff, emailing my manufacturer, doing all that work, just different hours of the day, which is what I find enjoyable, just being able to do that work kind of when you want.
With that being said, what's been your toughest moment, or like what's a failure that you've experienced along the way? It could be old, it could be recent, but you're grateful for so far.
I would say a failure would be probably, it's kind of general, but failing at something, having it not work out, and just realizing that it's better to fail and you can just go at it the second time and know what to do. Whether it's an instance with my health and wellness product I'm building and I messed up the formula or the manufacturer has issues, and realizing that like things are always going to come up, failures are always going to hit you, you're always going to have a bump in the road, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't do something just because you might fail, or you shouldn't, I guess, try for that marathon or try for that time, even if you might fail. I think just failure is going to push you forward and allow you to go further the next time.
So what's been your toughest moment so far?
In terms of
either physically or building your business?
I guess a public failure that just came to my mind was set on a sub 3:30 marathon to end the year.
Honolulu.
And the race went terrible, tanked, legs cramped, I was throwing up. It was the worst experience of my life. First marathon ever, and it went terrible. I mean, I honestly was embarrassed after. I was just like, this is crazy. The race owes you nothing. Marathon owes you nothing. And it really shows and pulls a lot out of you. I'm running the Austin Marathon here in 3 weeks, so hopefully going to get redemption there.
Yeah.
But that was an experience where I failed in public, posted about it, what I wanted to get, what I thought I was going to get, and it just didn't go according to plan.
But I think that's awesome because that's real.
Yeah.
Like that's so real. Even in our group chats, who we talk with all the time, you know, all the other guys had high expectations too. I mean, yes, the conditions weren't great. It was raining. It was everything else that it was. But like, that's life. It's not always going to go the way that you want it to. And I think that having this race set up, you know, whatever, a couple of weeks away, the Austin Marathon, it's a great way to show people that like you didn't just get knocked down. You're like, okay, I'm done running. That sucked. Didn't hit my goal, whatever. I'm going to try something new. You're like, I'm signing up again and we're going to give it another go.
Yeah.
You know, 100%. And if this doesn't go great, I'm not saying that it's going to, but if this doesn't go great, I have no doubt that you're going to sign up for something else that's going to push you.
Planned.
There you go. Yeah, you're ready to go.
No, yeah, I think that mindset carries over. That's the exact mindset I have in everything I'm doing right now. If this awesome one doesn't go according to plan, or even if it does, I already want to do the New York City Marathon come November. And just depending on what time I get here is what I'll shoot for. New goal for that race. And that's the same mindset I have with both my app and product I'm building is like, if they fail, like, oh, well, I'll know what does work and what doesn't work about an app or a product and just start and just keep going. I think if you have that mindset, awesome. I mean, it's kind of straightforward, but if you seriously do not quit and don't give up and just keep trying over and over and over, at some point it's going to hit.
And you think that goes in all aspects of life?
Every single thing in life. Every single thing.
I agree. With that being said, what's most meaningful to you about what you do? Because you do a lot. Like, yes, you're building something, which is super cool. You've change people's lives through coaching, and you also like have fun doing it all at the same time. So what do you get out of it?
I think kind of sounds cliche, but the impact I can give while enjoying what I do is like a combination that I'm so grateful for. Like being able to change people's lives, whether it's fitness coaching or showing them I'm taking risk and quitting my job or this or that. Like I've had so many DMs saying, oh, you changed my life. Do you help me with this? Help me with that? All these DMs are what really bring value to you. And then getting to enjoy my life every day and love what I'm doing while doing that is like the ultimate win-win.
Yeah. That's awesome. I mean, I've seen it just from an outsider view. I've seen that, you've impacted a lot of people's lives, which is super cool.
Yeah.
But with seeing success, now on the other hand, I asked you about failure. You've seen a lot of success. What keeps you grounded?
I think what keeps me grounded is knowing that nothing is given to you and anything could go just like that. Whether you have a better month and a worse month or a good marathon time and a bad marathon time, like nothing is given and nothing's promised, I guess you could say, whether it's your health, your fitness, your goals, your business, anything. I think that's something that keeps me grounded, is knowing that any day, not you slack one day, but if you're slacking in the long term or doing the wrong thing, like it could all be taken from you just like that.
100%. Do you think that has to do anything with faith?
100%. Yeah.
How is your faith?
I'd say I have a strong faith. I grew up Christian and I always grew up going to church, grew up in a Christian household and faced something that's always been a part of my life. Obviously, I've had highs and lows in terms of my faith and my strength. I mean, I don't know if you can relate, but yeah, when you going through college, probably a lower point in my life, and then going through my COVID issues, probably a higher point where I'm just like relying on God more. But each day I'm trying to improve it, just improve my relationship with God and Jesus. So yeah.
Yeah, that's super cool to hear. And I think from everything that we've seen in the short time that we've been together, I mean, we've gone to church together. We've done, had some good talks. I know it's had an impact on my life. Yeah. So I think that, also you have a lot of power in what you have to say and who you talk to. I just think it's really cool that, you can share that and you do say, you do give it to him. You do give 100%. It up to God, which is
it's really something awesome. I want to actually improve on though. Just in the rest of my life is not that, I don't know, the word silent Christian, like not that I don't talk about it at all, but I want to get better at sharing it. Whether it's not even a subconscious thing. It's just, I want to get better at talking about it, sharing it and being more, not confident in sharing it, but just sharing it more. Social media to cool. Other people, inviting more people. That's a goal I have for 2026.
No, that's really cool because, I didn't even get to ask you what your goals are. I was going to say, what are you excited about and looking forward to next? Because again, you're building a ton and I think it's pretty cool. And when you talk about it, I can hear how passionate you are about it. So that's one thing. That's a goal that you have. But what else are you looking forward to in 2026?
So to touch on the marathon, I want to go at least sub 3:30. My goal is to do that here in Austin. If I do get that, then I want to go sub 3:15 in New York City would be my further goal. So yeah, good marathon time. I want to successfully launch my health and wellness product. I won't go in super detail on what it is yet, just because I've been waiting to promote it yet and still finalizing some things. But yeah, it's a health and wellness product. It's going to be all whole food, organic ingredients, something that really fits me and what I would use every day and something I love and would be passionate about. So I want to launch that here late spring, early summer is my goal. And my goal is to do, I originally said 100K in revenue, but I think I can do 200K in revenue first year. Man. So 200K revenue first year with the product. I'm also working on an app with some friends and the goal is to launch that here in a couple months and get 25,000 downloads is another goal.
That's cool.
Faith-based goal, like I just mentioned, share more about God. But along with that is I want to read the Bible front to back, or at least the whole entire thing. I read the Bible, but I've never finished it fully. And I think that's a good goal to have. So I want to do that as well as done. Yeah, 100%. I want to make it part of my just daily checklist of how many pages and chapters I need to do and just get that done every single day. Trying to think some other goals I have.
No, man, it's cool. Yeah. Go big. I mean, you've shared some with the group too. Yeah. I know you can't share everything, but I think it's really cool. We talk a lot about the future And I think that's something that's really important when you hear the word legacy, right? When people hear the word legacy, yes, it means an inheritance, so like what you leave behind. And there's a lot of forward thinking with that. In the next 3 to 5 years, what do you want your life to look like?
The next 3 to 5 years, I want my product to be successful and growing rapidly and continue to scale. I want my app, same thing, be launched successful, getting tons of users, and I want positive impact through both of those. And through that, ultimately, I think I want to share my journey. I want to start documenting on YouTube more and just share my entrepreneurship journey as well, and just become more giving raw, authentic content and just like behind the scenes stuff, like what I'm building. As of now, I'm going to be in Austin for a few more years.
Let's go.
Keep building this stuff here.
Love it.
So I don't know the specific plans on that yet, but continue to grow my businesses, scale them, and just see where they can take me is really my goal.
That's cool. I know you've said success in a few different aspects, but I think that's super relative. What does success look like to you?
I think it's a good question.
Sorry, I'm hammering you.
You hit me hard with these questions.
Yeah.
They're deep questions because success is not just financial. Success to me is not just hitting your goal time. I think success is, as general as it sounds, giving your all and putting your full force effort into a goal and striving for that goal. I don't think it's a failure if you go to run a 3:30 marathon and you fail. Like, it doesn't mean it's not a success. It's a learning opportunity for you to improve. And whether you start a business and it fails, 9 out of 10 people who start a business are going to fail. And it's just another learning opportunity. So as long as you're not quitting on yourself, I think success is really just holding true to what you say you're going to do and following through with it.
I think that's great advice. I was just going to ask you, what advice do you have for people who are trying to get started in whether it be social media or entrepreneurship? Something that I said actually on social media right before we came into this podcast was just start. You talked about success and businesses failing. I was hearing a quote the other day that said, a majority of the millionaires are not the wisest people. They just tried something and it either failed and they adjusted, or it succeeded and they went with it. And, I think a lot of people spend a ton of time sitting in their thoughts in the planning phase, trying to make sure that all their I's are dotted and their T's are crossed and that, they've got everything figured out before it goes. I think that's where dreams go to die. And it's cool 100%. Because I feel like, as you mentioned in college, just started social media, just tried it out and you saw success and it was super cool. And from there, you've, started other accounts, you've helped other people grow, you've, started coaching and just started building off of it. I don't think any of that was overthought. And I hope that you take that with you in your life and your business. But with that being said, do you have any other advice, thoughts, or something that you wish you knew when you started that other people are probably going to want to know?
I think you hit on my main point, which would be to just fail fast. And you don't know if things are going to work and you don't know what you're going to like, what's going to work, what's not going to work. And you just have to go at it. I think the best way to go about it is, if you have something you're thinking about, set a goal for yourself in terms of, like, I guess for social media example, when I started my TikTok, wanted to post, I was scared to post. I was scared of what people would think of me. But I was like, you know what, I'm going to post. Rather than just saying I'm going to post, I said I'm going to post 3 videos a day, every single day for 1 year. And like, if you give something that much input and attention and effort and it doesn't work out in 1 year, you can reconsider things and be like, yeah, maybe this isn't for me. But just through that consistency and the video after video, I learned that that's really where success compounds, is on that consistency. And the same thing with my business is like, yeah, maybe it won't work out. Maybe it will. But I have this mindset of like, I'm going to do everything I can and just go and fail fast and learn and launch and do all these things. And at the end of the day, if you keep trying, it doesn't work, maybe you pivot and do something else. So I think a big thing that holds people back is, like you said, just not starting. And as not everyone is meant to be an entrepreneur. Not everyone has that risk tolerance, but the sooner you can realize, like, you are in control of your life. You can seriously build your life entirely how you want to do it. And you can do exactly what you want to do. It might take connections. It might take effort. It might take sacrifice, and different things. But if you just start and just don't give up, I'm telling you, something will work out. Whether you start social media, that doesn't work, and then you met someone through social media that gets you connected and you get your dream job as a sports analyst. Like, it could be the most random thing ever, but doing each goal you have in life at full force effort and staying consistent with it, things will work out. And if that doesn't work out, something else will.
No, that's cool. That's super cool. I'd like to challenge your thought about that a little bit, though.
Yeah.
I think you said in the beginning, you said we're in control of our life. Mm-hmm. I think we're in control of our decisions. Mm-hmm. And I think he is the one in control of our life. But with that being said, I think we're all called to do something on this world. I think that a lot of people struggle to figure out what that calling is. You know, and you as well, you've seen people who go to work and you're like, are you even like alive? They have like a dull expression on their face. How's it going? It's good. Yeah. Like, what's new? Nothing. And that like breaks my heart. I was in that too. I was working corporate 9 to 5 downtown Austin, and, you know, kind of going into it, I knew that it wasn't going to be forever. Yeah. It was just a situation, you know, coming out of school and getting grounded in a new city, new place, which I'm glad I did. I think everything happens for a reason. But I think that a lot of people struggle on finding that spark and that flame that's like, you know, you said even after your work, you were still making time to go to the gym to film because that's what you cared about. Like, that's where your heart was taking all day long. I'm sure that's what you were thinking about, right? Yeah. What would you say to those people who struggle to have, they're like, I don't know what I want to do. Like, I'm working a job. I come home, I'm bored, not sure what to do. You know, their thoughts are kind of scattered. Obviously, we have a spark inside of us and we have a goal and we can see it and we're chasing it. What would you say to those who battle with that?
That's a good question. I think something that helps me is it's very general, but try new things and set smaller goals. I think people get caught up in these huge goals. Like, they're at their 9 to 5 and they're like, but I can't just quit my job, or I can't start a business tomorrow. And they just think that's like, there's 1,000 steps to get there, and they just like don't even know where to start, what to do. And I don't think it's that deep of like completely change your life the next day, but just having a small goal, like maybe you're really into fitness and you just feel complacent in your job. Maybe that's just sign up for a 5K, a half marathon, or doing a competition at your local gym. It could be something small, but when you do these small goals, what I've found and what a lot of my clients found too in fitness coaching is when you do these small goals and you achieve them, whether you don't achieve them or you do, it gives you a sense of purpose and it gives you a sense of passion. And it helps you have a reason for the things you're doing, whether that's playing an instrument, starting a lawn care bit, like, and it could be anything. It could be starting a small group at your church. It could be little things. Like, it doesn't need to be a financial goal and it doesn't need to be a life-changing goal. But if you have all these little goals or trying new things or doing a bunch of different things, I think it only helps your community, the people you meet, sense of pride, and not pride, but accomplishment and success, kind of like when you do these things and you kind of like check them off the list. And it really helps build momentum in your life. And I think that will help you find your purpose, as well as, obviously, I'm biased, but having a relationship with Jesus Christ. And I think 100%. Digging into that part too will also help you find your purpose.
100%. And I think we're seeing more of that nowadays than ever before. I think there's a little revival going on, which fires me up.
Awesome.
And I know we touched on it a little bit before the podcast. Obviously, you've known that we've had a farm in Kansas that we call Legacy Farm.
Still got to get out there.
Yeah, we're going to get the boys out there for sure at some point. I think it'll be super cool. I think it's cool to put people in a unfamiliar environment like that. We're just middle of nowhere, small towns. It brings you back 20 years. The mailman's the bus driver, and the mailman drives around just a truck. Like,
we got to get out there.
It's different. It's cool. But did you ever hear how it got its name?
I did not.
So you touched on a little bit, like the word
I've
legacy.
had I know the word behind it, but I didn't know the story behind it.
So it's funny. At like yourself, born and raised East Coaster. I hate mentioning that, but it's true. Yeah. Grew up in New Jersey. And my dad was one of 6, had 4 older sisters and a brother. Big family, big beach people. Love going down the Jersey Shore, as we've talked about. But for whatever reason, he started loving the outdoors, hunting, fishing, like just super out there, right? Got a bow, started hunting by himself, didn't really have anyone show him the ropes. As he got older, started going on trips out to Kansas, which is like a mecca for, whitetail deer. Yeah. And just absolutely fell in love with it. I think part of just it being so simple, everybody waves, people take care of each other out there. Just very different from New Jersey. So fell in love with it. And got in an auction, bought a farm. And when he was kind of telling his family, brothers and sisters, they were all busting on him. They're like, what are you doing buying land in Kansas? Yeah. And I get it. It's, it's a little out there. And even when I go back home, people are like, oh, like you've got land in Kansas. It's, a little odd. Yeah. But his dad, my grandfather, was standing up for him. He's like, I don't understand it, but I love the legacy you're building out there. And he goes, Dad, I think you just named the farm. And it's super silly and it's super simple, but I think that goes a really, really, really long way with me. I don't know why it sits so deep, but it does. And you mentioned it. It doesn't matter if you started a lawn care business, if you're a painter, if you like mixed martial arts, if whatever your passion or hobby is, whatever you do in life, you're creating a legacy. Yeah. And yes, people see like our social medias, a lot of it's like hunting and fishing and being outdoors and faith. Yes, that's who we are. But a legacy is anything. A legacy is what you're building. A legacy is what some kid, going about his days in schools, like he's already starting to build his legacy. He doesn't even know it yet. So we started, Legacy Farm Company really just got submerged. But the more people I talk to about it, the more people it touches. And that's what I think is so cool, because it literally does not matter what you do in life. You're building a legacy. And I think that Tim Tebow was the one saying it. Everyone thinks about legacy as like an inheritance or what you get when somebody passes away. I think it's more about what you leave in the hearts of others, right? When you're gone, how are people acting, remembering you? What is your image? How are you going to be remembered? How did you change other people's lives? I think that's what legacy really means. And it's, way more than $1, like you mentioned before. If you had to say that you wanted your legacy to be something, and I know there's an extent to where, you don't have control over what it is, because everyone's views and perspective is different. What would you want your legacy to be? That's a big question.
That's a big question. Yeah, I agree. I think legacy means, to me, it means what do you want to be known for? Kind of like you just touched on. I think it all stems down to impact, the impact you have on not just your friends, but your family, others, the world. And I think impact stems from purpose. So I think it all stems down to having a purpose and then creating as big of an impact as possible, whether that's sharing about God and Jesus Christ and spreading the word, whether that's building my businesses to improve the health in America and allowing people to have healthier food options, whether that's starting an app to connect people like myself to other entrepreneurs and allow them to share their similar journey, whether that's creating an impact in your local community, giving back, whatever it might be. I think all of this isn't, the monetary stuff's great, the flexibility is great, the lifestyle, or all these specific goals are great, but I think it all stems down to what impact can you create. And I think that's the legacy I want to leave behind, is creating as big of an impact as possible.
That's cool. I love that. Who or what legacy has inspired you, whether it be, someone in your family, someone you look up to, the Lord? What's a legacy or something that you either aspire to be or just get a lot of influence and motivation from?
It's another good question. Hit me on the spot with this one.
You got to rack them on, man. I know it's tough.
Let's see. I mean, obviously the Lord and and Jesus Christ is a great example of what to live by and someone everyone should strive to be like. I'd say though, it's a really good question, and I'm kind of getting caught off guard right now.
No, that's fine.
On like a specific person. I pull a lot of stuff from different people, whether it's someone I respect for the business side, someone I respect for the social media side, different pieces from everyone. But I think all those people might have traits of they're into their fitness and health and how they feel and look. They're into their relationship with God and their faith is pretty strong. They're disciplined, and kind of like I said, they want to leave an impact too. And they have a bigger purpose than just getting money or just having fame or any of those reasons right there.
Yeah, 100%. It's funny. I kind of went on a little bit of a deep dive myself.
Do you have someone that comes to mind?
I think it's a combo again.
Yeah.
For the fitness side, there's a lot of people who are, you're never going to be that guy. You're never going to be the strongest. You're never going to be the fastest. You're never going to be the wealthiest. Mm-hmm. So I think, kind of taking a broad paintbrush across of people like, love like the Cameron Haynes. I love like the fitness guys like Rich Froning. Mm-hmm. I love some of the archery guys like Levi Morgan, Crispy. Levi Morgan really inspires me because he's a dad. Mm-hmm. He's a huge man of his faith. And I just think that there's a lot of other people in the industry, a lot of young guys too coming up who are kind of embodying those values too. There's a new company. It's called God Bless Bow Hunting. Mm-hmm. There's two guys, Hunter Phelps and Yappy. They're great dudes. I've never met them before, but I've just followed them for a long time. And I think they're doing a great job at kind of blazing the path. And you're seeing like a whole new set of young hunters, outdoorsmen, and then even some fitness guys that you're familiar with too, that are just, doing a great job. So it's a little bit of everybody, mm-hmm. taking bits and pieces. I think the only one that you ever need to fully idol is the Lord. But I was doing a little research, mm-hmm. and it doesn't say legacy anywhere in the Bible, not one time. Mm-hmm. And I think that's something pretty cool to note, because legacy isn't something that you can like talk about, right? And like even from like when he created everything in the beginning, he was the first to show us what legacy was.
Yeah, proof of concept.
Yeah, because anyone can talk, right? You and I can talk about building these businesses or meeting people or crushing these goals. Unless we go out and do it, mm-hmm. it doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. It's going down the drain. And I think it's pretty cool because, the Lord wasn't saying, hey, like I am going to make everything okay as long as you guys, obey and give your life to me. He just showed us that.
Yeah.
In the purest form possible.
I think he has the ultimate legacy.
The ultimate legacy. And I think it's cool that it doesn't say legacy in there, because like this book right here is 100%, it's the legacy. Mm-hmm. And I think that, as I mentioned before, we're all called to something different, mm-hmm. right? Like as hard as I wanted to, if right now, like we met, I'm like, I want to create the same exact legacy as Bryce. I couldn't. Mm-hmm. It's impossible.
Yeah.
We're all called to something different. And that's what I love about the name of the farm. Yes, a farm in Kansas mm-hmm. inspired us to do whatever else we do in life. But I think it's so cool how many different stories and experiences and people are met just through thinking about like your story. What's your path? What's your legacy?
Yeah. I think it all ties into passion too, is everyone's legacy comes from slightly their passions too. And everyone's gonna have different passions and striving for different goals and different things too.
Yeah. And with that being said, like it's changed mm-hmm. over the years, right? When you were at Penn State, what did you think that you'd be doing right now?
Thought I'd be here in 2 months, moving back to Pennsylvania, working construction, and long term, I thought I'd be done doing social media or anything like that because I wouldn't have time for it in the future. So my life in the last 6 months even did a complete 180. So yeah, I mean, if you're listening, your life can always change. You can wake up one day and be doing something completely different. I think it's all about just trying new things, and eventually you're going to find what works for you.
And then, I mean, you said you don't even want to be in social media forever. Mm-mm. So you don't even know what the next obviously you said that you want to grow these businesses. You might carry social media throughout that. Absolutely. But it's not your goal, and I just think it's cool because, we can, like I said, we're not in control of everything. We're only in control of our decisions. And every single day we're making a lot of decisions. But they say, don't look in the rearview mirror. That's why the windshield's way bigger, right? You don't want to look back unless you want to go that way. And I think that is really cool. And I really appreciate being surrounded by guys like you and some of the rest of our crew, because, although we goof around, we have a good time, I can see that everyone's going in a good direction, whether it be, their faith, their business, their passions, and there's just a little bit that we can get out of everybody. The more people that you talk to, even where we're at right now, just right here, the people that we can meet can directly have an impact on the trajectory of our life, for good or for worse. And yeah, I just think it's a really special thing, and I'm glad that we were kind of able to come here and break it down and
definitely. You got to surround yourself with the like-minded people. I know everyone says that, but it's seriously true. And if you seriously have friends that aren't putting you closer to your goal, it doesn't need to be this crazy goal, but if you want to improve your life and go this route and be that better person, and you have friends that are pulling you away from those goals, I think you seriously need to cut them off. Like, it is that serious. And I know everyone talks about it and it's like, oh, well, this and that, da, da, da. But I'm like, you got to surround yourself with people who have similar goals or bigger goals than yourself. It's the only way you're going to keep going together. And then when you all do stuff together, it's fun. You can have fun times together. You can go run together. You can work out together, build stuff together. And it just makes it that much better in the long run.
100%. And with that being said, what is going to make someone watching this make that jump? They can listen to this and just shut it off and turn it. But,
I think everyone watching this right now is sitting there thinking about something right now in the back of their head. Like, I want to do this, or I want or wanted to do this, or whatever that something might be. Maybe that's me a few years ago saying, I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to start my own business. And I used to listen to podcasts just like this. And it's kind of full circle moment. It's my first podcast talking about things that helped me. But I think if you're in that position, there's nothing else you can do besides literally starting. You get off this podcast and make that first step. If you want to start a business, and get off this podcast and make that first call, trying to find a manufacturer. If you want to start training for a marathon, go start running right now after this podcast. Like, just do the first step and just take it one step at a time. And I think that's the only way you're going to get to your goals, is by taking that first step, like we talked on.
And I think that's a true testament. You said that it's kind of coming full circle. Like, have you either vocally or physically wrote down that you wanted to be on a podcast at some point?
Yes.
And because I'm in the same boat with you. I think it's super cool. This year, 2025, so it just ended, was actually the first time I pulled out this notebook. I wrote down my 2025 goals. And
did you hit them?
First time, I didn't hit all of them.
Yeah.
I had a lot, some big, some small, which is, I hit most of them. I hit some that I didn't think I was going to, including, I'm not even remotely close to where I want to be as an athlete, as a man, as a believer, as a follower of God. And I said that I wanted to have a Mountain Ops supplements sponsorship. And I said a Sitka gear sponsorship. And there were a few other sponsors that I didn't get, but I got those too. And I wrote that down, and I looked at it and I was like, that's the first time that it happened.
Yeah.
Like that's real.
Yeah.
And although, you said take the step, just start by doing something. Like, I didn't hit everything I want to, but I hit two pretty big goals along the way. So I think everyone's like worried about being a finished product and having,
you don't need to hit all goals by any means.
You don't. You don't. Whether it be, I want to run a sub 330 marathon. I want to bench 315, squat 405. You get one of those, it's still a win.
Good goal.
You get two of those, you're crushing it. Three of them, doable. But if you don't, like, you're way further ahead than you would have been if you didn't even make those goals in the first place. You know what I mean? I just think that's a cool example.
Definitely. To touch on goals real quick.
Yeah.
just looking back a year, 2 years ago, maybe some of you guys can relate to this, is like my goals were so small, not measurable. And you can just see how much my life changed. My goals, I looked back 2 years ago, I had a goal of go to the gym 4 to 5 times a week, eat healthier, stretch more, and like read my Bible. Those are the goals. Like those goals are so bad. They're great goals and helping me get to like where I want to get. Yes. But they're terrible goals of like, how do I quantify reading my Bible more? How do I quantify just going to the gym 4 to 5 times a week? You're not tracking that every single week.
Right.
Whereas I look at my goals this year and I'm saying launch this business, do 200K in revenue, launch this app, 25,000 downloads, read the Bible front to back, sub 330 marathon. Forgot to touch on sub 1 hour high rocks.
Let's go.
Open doubles.
March.
Yeah. Coming up here in March. All these goals are just exponentially bigger than my goals just 1 to 2 years ago.
But they're specific.
They're specific.
You have a numerical value.
So my point behind this was, one, your life can change in 1 year and you can have massive goals. I think for you, it's going to be huge in this upcoming year. Just like you said, you got these sponsorships and I can feel the momentum you're building. And I think this coming year, like it's just going to double. It's going to triple, quadruple. So you have that side. And then I also have the side of, you want to set specific and measurable goals. If you want to run if you want to bench 315, set a goal to hit smaller increments along the way, hit 275 by March or hit 305 by November, whatever it is. Like have these smaller goals and things you can actually achieve that are numerical so you know if you're going to hit them or not. And then even if you don't hit your goals, it's like, okay, you can just get that goal the next year or set an even bigger goal and hopefully get that one. But just not hitting your goals is not a failure. You shouldn't be hitting all your goals to begin with anyways.
100%. I guess one more thing that I kind of thought that, you've really inspired me to do is just like your discipline. And I know that's not easy for everybody. Everyone says, discipline over motivation. And you wake up early in the morning, it's dark, it's cold. You know that you have work to do that day, whether it be your actual job or something you're building on the side. How do you find the discipline when things get really hard?
Yeah, I think that's one of the most common questions I get probably in my DMs and stuff too. And I actually think you're better at this than myself. I see your consistency and discipline with posting, running, all this stuff. No matter. This man last night he was lifting at 12:30 and probably woke up at 5 a.m. today. So I think it comes from, it's something you can build over time, definitely, and get better at. But for me, at least, this is something that can help a lot of people too, is if you can hold yourself accountable to do the things you say you're going to do, start very small. If you want to get disciplined with your eating or get leaner or whatever it might be, start small and just say, I'm going to cook every meal at home for the weekdays. And it's like, starting small and just holding true to yourself is what's going to build discipline. And like when you do these little goals, you get more discipline. And when you realize you cooked every single meal at home for 5 days, then it's like, all right, that was easy. Now I'm going to do for a full week. Then next thing you know, you're 30 days straight of eating dialed and you're getting the goals you want. So I think it comes down to having small accomplishments you can check off of, because that's going to build your discipline. It's not easy to stay disciplined if you are 300 pounds and you say, I want to have a 6-pack. Like, where do you start? What do you do? You're going to fall off the rails. Like, start small and take it slow. And each step you go will help build discipline. And then I just lost my train of thought. I was going to say one other point, but I think that's the main thing. Yeah.
It compounds.
It truly does compound.
I don't know if have you seen the log in our house yet?
Yeah. I actually just saw a video that you made about it.
The log is,
except I didn't hear the details on what it is. I know.
No, it's a 4x4 piece of wood.
Yeah.
And we just wrote the log on top of it. We kind of did it as a joke to settle disputes within our household. Living in a house with a bunch of guys is kind of funny. But people are commenting like, what does that help you with? It doesn't help you with anything. It's just a reminder that.
Explain to them though what it is.
The log is just a 4x4 piece of wood that when we see, we do push-ups on it.
All right, yeah.
Just 100 push-ups on it. Every single day. And it's one of those things where you walk by, you're like, I need to do 100 push-ups. Mm-hmm. And so far, it's January 28th. I haven't done my 100 push-ups today. It will get done. I can promise you that. But after today, that's going to be 2,800 push-ups.
That's crazy.
I'm like, not two. That was bad math. Not 2,000.
2,000? Yeah.
right?
2,800.
Oh,
100
yeah.
a day. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. 2,800 push-ups this year
Yeah.
in 2026.
Yeah.
Which is insane to me because I don't think that like that number sounds huge. If you're like, go do 2,800 push-ups right now.
Couldn't do it.
I'd be like, it would probably take you, it'd be one rep every 30 minutes. It'd take a long time. But, that stuff compounds. And by the end of the year, having, over 30,000 push-ups done in a year, like that number sounds
crazy
astronomical. But it's just 100 a day.
Yeah.
And I think that people can break that down. Like, if you actually do the math, I'm not a math guy, as you just saw, but if you hey, I'm reading 5 pages a day.
That's doable.
You're reading thousands and thousands and thousands of pages by the end of the year. If you're like, I want to drink more water. I'm drinking an extra 2 bottles of water a day. That's hundreds of extra waters that have gone through your body by making a small change today. And I think that that's something that people need to be more attentive of in 2026.
And I think that stems down to, have these smaller goals and do the little things. Focus on the inputs, not the outputs. If you want to get 50,000 followers on Instagram, don't focus on just getting 50,000 followers. Focus on posting 1 reel every single day or 3 reels every single day. If you want to, I don't know, run the 3:30 marathon, don't focus on just, I just want to run a 3:30 marathon. Focus on running every single day or 5 days a week or following a plan. So I think it's focusing on the inputs over the outputs.
Man, that's awesome. I completely agree. Before we end, I know we can kind of touch on it. The word legacy. What does the word legacy mean to you?
Like I said before, I still think it just, first thing that comes to mind is just impact. I want to be known for a man, like I said, that a balance and variety of things, impacting people in multiple facets of my life, whether it's my faith, my health, my discipline, my business, my entrepreneurship, just being the best version of yourself. And I want to leave an impact on as many people as I can, in all those aspects.
Love it, man. Where can people find you if they want to go look up your stuff after this?
Yeah, I'm on all socials. Instagram is Bryce_Witmer, and my TikTok is Bryce Witmer Fit.
Just started YouTube.
I actually don't even remember my YouTube username right now because it's so new. I
think it's just Bryce Witmer. You'll find it out there.
Type in Bryce Witmer YouTube, you'll find it.
What's the next vid coming out?
I'm actually this might help any of you guys listening right now, is I'm going to plan my entire 2026 year out and write down all my accomplishments, goals, things I'm doing for the year. I'm kind of just going to talk on how to set goals and how I go about living a great year and getting the most out of it.
Heck yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing that too. And when should everybody expect to see some of your products coming out? TBD? I
want to say late spring.
Gotcha.
In another 5-6 months or so, things should be looking good. And I'll have a lot more to talk about then.
Cool. Well, yeah, we'll keep up to date on your socials. People will be able to follow all that along there. Again, I'm pumped that we were able to kind of get this. We've been talking about it for a while. It's 2026 and we're starting to do it. So it's pretty cool.
It's awesome.
Now we're going to hammer out a lift.
Yep. Ready to get a lift. I appreciate you having me on. This is awesome. First one under the belts, and who knows, by the end of 2026, we're going to have, 50 of these done.
Let's go.
We'll see.
Let's go.